Welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. My name is Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy you can be with me. I'm wearing my very cool cat t-shirt. And please don't think that because I'm wearing this cat t-shirt that I like cats, even though I actually do like cats. But we're having issues with cats because they keep bringing us dead mice and putting us dead mice at our door. But So hope you guys are having a good day. Hello, Airbnb prom. There's a kind of a little bit of a thing there. Just because Muslims are always ragging on Paul. They're always saying, "Oh, you guys follow Paul and you don't follow Jesus, and you don't have the gospel of Jesus. You have the gospel of Paul, and Paul, he's the one who made Christianity and everything like that." And you know, that's so inconsistent with what even the Quran says. I believe. Let me just look at this real quickly here. I believe it's in the Quran. Let me see. I just want to show you something that is so okay. Okay, it's Quran 36:14. It says, "We sent them two messengers, but they rejected both. So we reinforced the two with the third, and they declared, we have indeed sent to you. We have indeed been sent to you as messengers." And so this is Quran 36:14. And what's interesting is, what when you look at, let me just um, when you look at what the commentaries say about this verse, let's look at what Ibn Kathir says, 36:14, about these three messengers. Okay. Oh. Let me see if he has it. Okay. Actually, Ibn Kathir is avoiding it, but let's see. He might have it. Destroy the town of those who believe in you. Okay. Town. Okay. Right here, if you look at this, it says this is what Ibn Kathir says about that verse 36:14. It says, "We sent to them two messengers. They denied both of them and hastened to disbelieve in them. So we reinforce them with the third means. We supported and strengthened the third messenger." Ibn Jurayj narrated from Wahab bin Sulaiman, the names of the first two were Shamun. Shamun, you guys, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you know, most of you know, is Simon, which is Peter. And Yohanna, Yohanna is Arabic for John, so it's Peter and John. And the name of the third was Bulis, and the city was Antakya or Antioch. Okay, so here Ibn Kathir acknowledges Paul as one, as a messenger, and I'm really curious now, you guys. 36 in أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهم فعززونا عززنا بثلاث فقالوا أنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل okay but مرسلون is sent ones or prophets. It's the same word. Muhammad is a messenger. Yeah, it's messenger, just like Muhammad. Mursalun is plural of Rasul. If you've watched the those videos, hello Rasulullah, well, Rasul, Mursilun comes from the same word, Marsul, Rasul. The word Rasul is in there. So this is calling Paul a Rasul, you guys. Dang. In Arabic, you guys, this is the Arabic. It says, أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوا أرسلنا إليكم مرسلون. Messengers. Wow. That's Allah saying that he sent Paul. He's a Rasul. Paul is a Rasul in the Quran, according to Ibn Kathir. Wow. That's heavy duty, you guys. Paul is a Rasul in the Quran. And so is Peter, and so is John. Dang. Wow. The reason why that's so amazing is because that's what, when they say the Shahada, there's no God but Allah, Muhammad is, they say his messenger, Rasul, Allah, the messenger of Allah. And here it's calling Peter, James, and John Rasuls. Peter, James, and John are Rasuls. Wow. That's dang. And they keep talking against Paul. They keep talking against Paul. And yet, Ibn Kathir calls Paul a Rasul. Wow. You guys, that is super heavy duty. I mean, maybe somebody has said this before. I'm sure they have. But that's still heavy duty. Let's see what Jalalain says about it. Okay. It's funny because what's the name of the chapter? Yasin, which is the name of the moon god, but we don't need to talk about that right now. Okay, we sent to them two men. They denied them both. فأرسلنا, the end of the two, substitution, we reinforced them, the two with a third, and they said, we have indeed been sent to you by God. Okay, so Jalalain doesn't give us any new insight. Let's go back and see if Asbab al-Nuzul says anything about it. But the Quran calls them Rasuls. Shoot. Oops, no, 34. Oh, they don't have 34. That's bad. I think a lot of people just figured out, this is trouble, so they're not commenting on it. Okay, is it 34, 14, or 36? I think it's 36. 36, 14. Okay. Now, Ibn Abbas says something even different. He says, we sent to them two apostles, Simon the Canaanite, and Thomas. They denied them both. So we strengthened them with a third. We strengthened Simon Peter, who confirmed the message and conveyed by the other two apostles. So Ibn Abbas says it's Simon the Canaanite, Thomas, and Peter. So, boy, you guys, these guys are confused, super confused, because, and it's interesting because the Quran says those who believe are not in doubt. Dude, they can't agree who those three are. Interesting. Now, a lot of them do agree. A lot of them do agree that it is. I'm curious what Al-Maududi says. Al-Maududi is a little bit more modern than the rest of these guys. Let's see what he has to say. You know, some of them sometimes they okay. The early commentators of the opinion that the Syrian Antioch and the messengers here were the ones sent by Jesus preaching the gospel. Another thing that has been mentioned is connection to Antiochus, the king of the land at this time. That's not true. Antioch is the city is called Antioch, which is in Syria. But historically, the story which Ibn Abbas is the basis of unauthentic Christian traditions related on the basis there have been 13 Seleucid Antiochus. It's you guys that messed up. We never had an issue with this king. Okay, from there's no proof forthcoming of the traditions. On the contrary, the Acts of the Apostles shows that the Christian preachers reached Antioch a few years after the event of the crucifixion. Wow, that's El Maududi. Now, evidently, people were appointed by Allah, regarded as messengers of Allah by any interpretation. Okay, the people who were neither appointed messengers by Allah nor sent by his messenger cannot be regarded as messengers of Allah by any interpretation, even if they may have traveled for the purpose of preaching on their own accord. And even if the Quran calls them messengers, they cannot be called messengers. That's what Maududi is saying, okay? Okay. I'm curious to see if he has the names of these. Let me see. Paul. I'm wondering if he says Paul or Boulis. In Arabic, it's Boulis. Let me see. Okay, no, Maududi doesn't have it, but Ibn Kathir does. Okay, Sayyid al-Maududi. Okay, Jalalain, Kashf al-Asrar. Let's see if Kashf al-Asrar has it. And there were I did this once with Sam Shamoun, and he showed a bunch of verses. And it's interesting that they are really, I bet you they sanitized it for the Americans because they don't want to say, because they want to continue attacking Paul, even though their book regards him as a Rasul. So, okay. Kushairi. Okay, and he only has 4 surahs. Okay, Kashani. Let's see what Kashani says. See if he has any insight. Most people are afraid. 36. Okay, well, a bunch of them don't say anything. Okay, but Ibn Kathir very clearly says that it is Paul. Okay, that Paul is one of the three. Paul is one of the 3 apostles that are messengers that Allah sent. Oh yeah, yes, David Wood does amazing work, and so anyway, I just wanted to show you a couple of verses in the Quran that look to me like they're stolen by Muhammad from Paul. They sound very much like Paul's words. Before I show you those, I want to show you another one. One time I was in the West Bank with one of my relatives, and we were talking, and this relative, who I love very much, uh, said, our prophet said, don't let your right hand know what when you give, don't let your right hand know what your left hand uh, does. And they said, this is what our beloved prophet said to us. We're not supposed to let your right hand know what your right. And I wanted to tell her the that Jesus said that 600 years before her prophet, but I didn't. But let me just show it to you, because this is in the Hadith of Balugh al-Maram, book 4, Hadith 33. This is what Muhammad said: a man gives charity so secretly that his right hand doesn't know what his left hand does. Now, we recognize that when Jesus is the one who said it in Matthew chapter 6. He said, when you give alms, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doeth. So now Jesus said it 600 years before Muhammad. So who do you think stole it from who? Yeah, so anyway, there's a lot of stuff like this in the Quran and in the Hadith. Okay. But today, my focus is just specifically about things that they stole from Paul. And this is all in the Quran. Okay. These are all in the Quran. So, okay, let's just look at this one. It says, everyone shall taste death. This is Quran 3:185. Everyone shall taste death. Well, in Hebrews 2:9, written 600 years before the Quran, it says, he tasted death for every man. He tasted death for every man. And so the Quran comes along and says, everyone shall taste death. But the Bible said 600 years earlier, he tasted death for every man. So just the idea of tasting death. Okay. So, okay. And by the way, that's written by Paul in Hebrews 2:9. Okay. Here's another one. It says, this is in the Quran, the trumpet will be blown, and all who are in the heavens and all who are on the earth. Okay. This is Quran 39, verse 68. The trumpet will be blown, and all who are in the heavens and all who are on the earth. This is about the day of resurrection. Well, 600 years earlier, the Apostle Paul said, the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised unperishable. It's almost identical. The Quran is quoting the Apostle Paul. The Quran is saying exactly what the Apostle Paul said. So, is it a coincidence? Is it a admiration? Is it theft? Is it plagiarism? But it's exactly, and in the Quran, it's talking about the day of resurrection. Let's just look at that verse 39:68, and here, let's look at that verse. Let's just look at that verse here. Surah Zumar. ونفخ في الصور. Okay, ونفخ في الصور فالصعق من في السماوات ومن اللي في الأرض إلى من شاء الله ثم نفخ فيه أخرى فإذا هم كيل ينظرون. The trumpet will be blown, and all those in the heavens and all those on the earth will fall dead, except Allah wills to spare. Then it will be blown again, and they will rise up at once, looking on in anticipation. Now let's look at what it says. Okay, let's look at what it says in 1 Corinthians 15. Let's read the whole verse there. Okay, 1 Corinthians 15. See where Muhammad got this from. Okay, remember that. Especially the second part, you guys. Then it will be blown again, and they will rise up at once, looking on in anticipation. Then it will be blown again. Okay, talking about the trumpet, and they will rise up at once. So okay, let's look at what the Bible says here, because there's actually two passages that this could be stolen from. And okay, 1 Corinthians 15. You got to go down to verse 50. Okay. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, this corrupt, okay, first, verse 52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall all be changed. That's the Apostle Paul, you guys. The Quran is quoting the Apostle Paul. Okay, so there's a trumpet and the resurrection. Okay, it's exactly what the Quran is saying. And I also want to look at another verse, because there's another verse that kind of says the same thing. And it's 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Okay, 1 Thessalonians 4. And okay. For this we say by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So anyway, it looks like Muhammad was kind of taking a little bit from here, a little bit from there, but this idea of the trumpet blowing and announcing the resurrection, which Muhammad put in the Quran, this was in the Bible long before it was in the Quran. Okay, and so very important passages here that Muslims are always ragging on Paul. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be a dog. I don't want to be mean, but they are. Almost every time I talk to somebody, they go on, oh, the Bible was by Paul. Christianity is Paul and everything like that. They're really ragging on Paul when the Quran calls him a Rasul, calls him one of Allah's messengers. And so, according to Ibn Kathir, okay? And so, so anyway, this is, and yet the Quran is quoting Paul. The Quran is quoting Paul. Okay. Houston says the Quran quotes Handel's Messiah. Can you tell us exactly where it does that? Or haram. That's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. It talks about, let me see if the trumpet is haram in the Quran. Okay. Okay, the second blowing of the trumpet, and we'll see Moses hanging the throne. And I will not know whether he had been in a state of that time after the blowing of the trumpet. The trumpet which shall be blown, the angel of the trumpet. How can I feel at ease when the angel of the trumpet, Israfil, has put his lips to the trumpet and is waiting for the order to blow it? He perceived if it had been shocked his companions. Okay. Entrusted with the trumpet. The two who are entrusted with the trumpet have two horns in their hands, waiting till they will be commanded to blow them. Okay, so it's like Jibrail and Mikael, the two angels that are named in the Bible. Muhammad took and put it. You could almost say, you guys, he took that exactly from the Bible. Even the names. Let me see. An بينما جبرائيل وعن يساره ميكائيل. Very interesting. Okay, that it has the names of both of the angels who are named in the Bible. There's only two angels who are named in the Bible. It's Gabriel and Michael. And here Muhammad put both of them are named in uh, both of them are named in the Hadith. Okay. Of course, the Quran also adds other names because Muhammad got a lot of the Quran he got from the Jews, and the Jews also had the Talmud and a bunch of different angels in that too. Uh, will be 40. Okay. So the last trumpet will be blown and the shout will be made. Sorry. Okay. Here it said Adam was created on it. He died on it. The last trumpet will be blown, and on it the shout will be made to invoke blessings on me that day, for your blessings will be submitted to me. Really? So the blessings will be submitted to Muhammad. And the people asked, Messenger of Allah, how can it be that our blessings will be submitted to you while your body is decayed? He replied, the Exalted has prohibited the earth from consuming the bodies of the prophets. Well, in Muhammad's case, they didn't have to wait for the earth to consume it because it started being consumed before it was put in the earth. So this is wow. I gotta do a screenshot of this, man. So all your blessings are going to be submitted to Muhammad? Really? So he's going to get all the blessings? Shoot. That's an interesting hadith there. Now you see, I've heard about it before, but I've never actually seen it. So it's cool to see it. And I'm curious too. I want to see what the Arabic says. It says, وقال رسول الله إن من أفضل أيامكم يوم الجمعة فيه خلق آدم وفيه قبض وفيه النفخة وفيه الصعقة فأكثروا على من الصلاة فيه فإن صلاتكم معروضة علي. You guys, you know what? They totally mistranslated it. It doesn't say that the blessings will be on me that day. It says your prayers will be to me that day. تعرض صلاتكم عليك. Call. Wow, you guys, this is, jeez, man. Sometimes I do these and I find out stuff, man. It's mind blowing. It's mind blowing, this stuff, man. Two big things today. Number one, the Apostle Paul is a Rasul, according to Ibn Kathir. According to Ibn Kathir, the Apostle Paul is a Rasul. He is a messenger. And number two, all your prayers are going to go to Muhammad on Judgment Day. I mean, it's not just Judgment Day. Uh, you know what? I'm going to read this the correct way instead of the way that they've translated. It says the trumpet will sound, the shout will be made to invoke more prayers on me that day, for your prayers will be submitted to me. It doesn't say blessings. In Arabic, it says your prayers will be submitted to me. And the people said, how will our prayers be submitted to you while your body is rotted? And he says, the earth will not rot my body. كيف صلاتكم معروضة عليه قالوا يا رسول وكيف تعرض صلاتنا عليك وقد أرمت يقولون بليت باليد. فقال إن الله عز وجل حرم على الأرض أجساد الأنبياء. So they're saying, how can our prayers, salatna? Wow, you guys, this is shoot. They totally mistranslate this. They totally mistranslate this. It is prayers. Your prayers are going to be given to Muhammad. How the heck is that going to happen? If there's a Muslim on here who come explain this to us, I'm really wanting to know. How the heck are your prayers going to be submitted to Muhammad? What is he? How's how many millions of Muslims are there in the world? 1.2 million, 1.2 billion Muslims in the world. There's 1.2 billion Muslims in the world, or I don't know, maybe 1.3 billion Muslims in the world, and all their prayers are being submitted to Muhammad. That's what Muhammad said. What the heck does that mean? Who knows? If anybody understands, please help me, because I'm in the dark about this one. Shoot. Oh, shoot. Dang. فأكثر منهم الصلاة فيه فإن صلاتكم معروضة علي. Salatkum, again, Muhammad saying your prayers are, and you guys, these are not weak hadiths, okay? These are not weak hadiths. This is sahih. That Muhammad, that all your prayers are going to Muhammad first. Shoot. What does that even mean? Now we know when Jesus says, that we can ask him because he's God. But is Muhammad God? To where people's prayers are going to be to him? Shoot. Sorry, guys. I kind of got distracted there just because I wasn't expecting that. That is like devastating. Shoot. If there's a Muslim here who can help me understand this, if there's a Muslim here who understands what this means, because sounds devastating. Yeah, they kept his body around for 3, but yes, it's true. They tried to wait to see if his body would come to life, but instead, the hadith says that the smell became so powerful, they just buried the whole house. It was Aisha's house. To this day, if you go to Medina, that's where his grave is. It's in Aisha's house. And so, yeah. Wow, you guys. We've discovered a couple of things. Oh, 48 and 52. The trumpet shall sound. That's awesome. Yeah. But I just got to be honest here. You got to know that Handel took it from the Bible, right? Yeah, so Handel took it from the Bible. So wow. Yeah. One of the many false prophecies in the Quran. But that, you thank you, Houston. That word salat is a magic word that the meaning changes depending on who they're trying to deceive. Because, like it says, Allah prays. Here it says that the prayers are going to be directed to Muhammad. Ma'aruda alayya. Keep the salat ma'arud ala Muhammad. How are prayers directed to Muhammad? Dude, that just blows my mind, because how many billions of, there's not billions, but, millions of Muslims, and all their prayers have to go to Muhammad, sometimes the now, yeah, when Jesus said, that we prayed to him, you know, but he's God. But Muhammad isn't God. No, I mean when salat. Allah, it means prayers. But when salat to Muhammad, it means Muhammad. Okay, I'm not sure I know exactly what you're saying. Allah, it means prayers. But when salat, oh, right. And it doesn't just mean blessings. I had a whole list of everything that it means. It means mercy. It means rahmah. It means barakat. It means they change it to so many different things because they understand that they got a big headache. They got a big headache. Okay. And how is the prayers going to be presented to Muhammad? You know, I mean, that's a whole different can of worms. You got the other one, which is that Allah prays. Who does Allah pray to? So big headache. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at the. That was kind of like, wow, that took us all over the place there. All right. So let's look at another one here. Let me one more time show you the ones that, okay. The trumpet will be blown, and all who are in the heavens and all who are on the earth. It's talking about the resurrection. That's in the Quran 39:68. The Bible says the trumpet will sound and the dead will be raised imperishable. Okay, now the Quran says that when the second trumpet blasts, that's when everybody comes back to life. Okay, so who stole from who? Who plagiarized who? Since Paul wrote this, Paul, the Ibn Kathir's Rasul, wrote this 600 years before Muhammad. Okay, then there's this one. Yeah, I like this one too. Quran 3:160. If Allah helps you, no one can defeat you. Well, Paul originally said that. If God be for us, who can be against us? Paul said that, 600 years before Muhammad. And so the Quran, Allah quotes, because the Quran is supposed to be Allah's words. So Allah quotes the Apostle Paul. Allah calls him a Rasul. Allah calls him a messenger and quotes him in the Quran. And so here's the other one. It says, everyone shall taste death. And the Quran and the Bible says he tasted death. So the idea of tasting death, and I'm kind of curious now. Let me just, since this is kind of going to be a short what's it called? Bible. Huh? What's the name of that? What's the name of that program I like? Bible. Shoot, I forgot what it's called. Bible. What is it called, you guys? Bible. Blue Letter Bible. Blue Letter Bible. I'm just kind of curious about the idea of tasting death. Taste death. Okay, but now we see Jesus. Okay, the whole idea of tasting death. The Quran, I mean, Muhammad, it's in the Quran. They took it, but where did they take it from? Let's look here in the Bible and the concept of tasting death. It says, but now we see Jesus, who was made a little lower than the angels for the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he, by the grace of God, should taste death for every man. Jesus said to his disciples in Matthew 16, there be some of you standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in glory. Okay. And that the same, Jesus said the same thing in Mark, shall not taste of death. And in Luke, which shall not taste of death. And then Jesus says in John 8:52, he says, when the Jews said unto him, we know that thou hast the devil. Abraham is dead and the prophets, And thou sayest, if a man keep my saying, he shall never taste of death. So the Jews also used that phrase, taste of death. So it must have been a Jewish concept. And we know that Muhammad interacted with the Jews and took so much from them. And here we see this, that the Jews here are using that phrase, taste of death. So, okay, so that is a phrase that is used in the Bible many times. And Muhammad took it. And how many, let me just, okay, most of them are in the gospel of, they're Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They're in all four gospels, okay? But the Apostle Paul uses it in the book of Hebrews. And so that's my focus. Muhammad or Allah quotes the Rasul Paul, okay? And he uses the same words that Paul used. Okay, let me just show you one more time. Okay, the trumpet will be blown, and all who are in the heavens and all who are on the earth, are going to come back to life. This Quran 39:68. That is from 1 Corinthians 15:52. The trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised imperishable. So the Quran quoting the Apostle Paul. If Allah helps you, no one can defeat you. That's Allah quoting the Apostle Paul, who said, if God be for you, who can be against you? Romans 8:31, 800 years or 500 years, 600 years before the Quran. And then everyone shall taste death, Quran 3:185. He tasted death for every man in Hebrews 2:9. So the Quran quotes the Apostle Paul, okay, many times. And so I did want to see that verse in the Quran. Everyone shall taste death. Okay, 3:160. Let's just look at 3:160. I'm just kind of curious what it says, exactly how it says it. Okay, 3:160. Okay, it says, if Allah helps you, none can defeat you. But if he denies you help, then who else can help you? So in Allah, let the believers put their trust. It is not appropriate for the Prophet to illegally withhold spoils of war, and whoever does so, it will be held against him on the day of judgment. ما كان للنبي أن يغل ومن يغلل يارد. Since we're here, you guys, I wasn't wanting to come here. But it's not appropriate for a prophet to illegally withhold spoils. And this was about you guys know about the pink cloth, and that the Sahaba said Muhammad stole. And so this verse is about that. Okay, varying degrees. All right. Okay. All right, you guys. Just kind of a short live stream today. I just kind of wanted to share with you some phrases that Paul used, that Muhammad stole and put in the Quran. And of course, don't forget, this is the biggie. This is in the Hadith, but Jesus said, when you give alms, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doeth. And in the Hadith, Muhammad said, a man gives charity so secretly that his right hand doesn't know what his left hand does. So anyway, and Muhammad gets credit for that in the Muslim world, even though he took it from Jesus, of course. So, all right, Surah steals from one. Surah 2 steals from 1 Corinthians 10:13. The last verse of Surah 2 steals from, okay, if you guys got any more, because that's also the verse of the Apostle Paul. So let's look at the last verse in Surah 2. Houston is he's okay. Let's look at the last verse of Surah 2. 2? No. I don't know how many verses are in the Surah 2, but it's a long one. Okay, now see we have to go all the way to the end. It's gonna take a half hour. This is the longest surah in the Quran. Okay, let me see if I could drag it down faster here this way. Okay. Okay, let's see the last verse of Surah 2 in the Quran. Allah does not require of any soul more than it can afford. All good will be for its own benefit, and all evil will be its own loss. The believers pray, O Lord, do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. O Lord, do not place a burden on us like the one you placed on those before us. Lord, do not burden us with what we cannot bear. Pardon us, forgive us, have mercy on us. You are the only guardian. So grant us victory over the disbelieving people. Is that the verse? Okay, let's look at, let's see the verse that Houston was talking about there. Okay, 10:13, Bible 10:13, 1 Corinthians 10:13. And no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. For when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so you can endure it. Yep. The concept is from Paul, and Mohammed took it and changed it to his have convoluted claim of Jesus dying after he returns at judgment. 3:185. Okay, I want to look at now. You got me wanting to check out all of this stuff. 3:185. Let's look. Three, 185. Every soul will taste death, and you will only. Wow. So again, tasting death, took it from the Bible, from Paul, and you will only receive your full reward on the day of judgment. Whoever is spared from the fire and is admitted to paradise will indeed triumph, whereas the life of this world is no more than a delusion of enjoyment. It sounds more like a New Age or a Zen Buddhist or something. So, all right. All right, you guys. Well, tonight was kind of a short live stream. I just wanted to present those. Yeah. What's that? All right. Thank you guys for being with us, and God bless you. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. He loves you. We love you. Thank you for being with us. God bless you, Marion and Houston, Emmanuel, and Mr. George. And give the gospel of Jesus. And Andrew Martin, God bless you. Airbnb. Filthy Mouth Schoolboy makes it up. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Have a blessed evening or day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. I know there's people all over the world watching here. And not tomorrow, but the Friday after, I'm going to be with our brother Kelly Powers on his program. So make sure and be with us at that time. God bless you guys, and you have a wonderful night. Yeah. Do you want to say anything, baby? No.
If you've ever wondered why dull apologists lie so much, it's because on a rare occasion that they tell the truth, this happens.
One of the reasons I accepted Islam was the scientific miracles. I'll be honest with you. And now we know that this whole scientific miracles was absolute nonsense.
You're going to have to...
That the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say.